India's missile tests are often described as routine. But in geopolitics, nothing is routine unless it is meant to be reassuring or to give a warning. The latest Agni-III test does both, as it speaks directly to Beijing and Rawalpindi. India has successfully test-fired the Agni-III intermediate-range ballistic missile, reinforcing the credibility of its long-range deterrence at a time of growing strategic pressure from both China and Pakistan. With a range exceeding 3,000 kilometers, Agni-III is not designed for tactical signaling, it is designed for strategic stability. In simple terms, it ensures that India retains assured retaliatory capability even as adversaries expand missile forces, harden launch infrastructure, and experiment with coercive escalation. The China dimension. China today fields one of the world's fastest growing missile arsenal, spanning conventional, nuclear, and hypersonic systems. From deployments in Tibet to expanding silo fields deeper inside the mainland. Beijing is reshaping Asia's strategic balance. India's response, however, is fundamentally different. New Delhi is not matching China missile for missile. Instead, it is ensuring credibility, survivability, and certainty, the three pillars of effective deterrence. Agni-III sits squarely in this logic. Long range enough to hold strategic targets at risk, mature enough to be reliable, and restrained enough to avoid escalation spirals. This is deterrence by assurance and not intimidation. The Pakistan dimension. For Pakistan, the message is even more direct. Rawalpindi's long-standing strategy of sub-conventional conflict under a nuclear overhang depends on the belief that India can be deterred from escalation. But Pakistan's internal instability, from Balochistan to urban terrorism, is weakening command cohesion and strategic predictability. In such an environment, India's deterrence posture must account not just for intent but for miscalculation. Agni-III reinforces a clear red line. Any attempt to leverage nuclear ambiguity or externalize internal crisis will fail. India's deterrence architecture does not wobble with political noise across the border. Why this test matters? The timing of the test matters. China is pressing militarily along the line of actual control. Pakistan is fragmenting internally while retaining escalation tools. The global nuclear signaling has become more casual, more dangerous. Against this backdrop, India is signaling three things simultaneously. To China, coercion will not translate into strategic advantage. To Pakistan, instability does not dilute consequences. To the world, India remains a responsible nuclear power committed to restraint. There were no headlines demanded, no adversaries named, no threats issued. That's precisely what makes the signal strong.
India's successful test fire of the nuclear-capable Agni-III missile from Odisha's integrated test range at Chandipur validated all operational parameters, including its two-stage solid propellant system and 3,000+ kilometer range. Conducted by the Strategic Forces Command, this user trial reinforces India's credible minimum deterrence and second strike capability, complementing the nuclear triad with assets like INS Arihant, submarine patrols. Amid LAC standoffs with China and Pakistan's instability, Agni-III ensures survivability against expanding regional arsenals without fueling arms race. This restraint signaling underscores India's commitment to strategic stability in a volatile Asia.
In a region crowded by noise, restraint, backed by capability is power. India is not changing the strategic balance, it is ensuring that no one else can change it either.